All right.
So, okay, this is Kevin Gumper, and this is the Fairfield Conservation Commission meeting of December 16th, 2020. And in this meeting, we are acting as the Conservation Commission rather than as the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency for the town of Fairfield. And this meeting is being held via teleconference, and the persons in attendance are myself, Kevin Gumper, Jennifer Hawhuth, Nelson North, Elizabeth Jones, Brian McCann, an alternate who's being appointed to sit as a full member, and Dabney Bowen, an alternate being appointed to sit as a full member. And we'll start out with the bills and communications. The first thing we had was a report from the H. Smith Richardson Conservation Fund, and anybody have any questions about that? We'll actually be talking about that in a couple more minutes when we talk about the Tucker Fund later on. All right, hearing nothing about that, note for the entire commission that Nelson is now a full member. Congratulations, Nelson.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you.
Then next matter on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the special meeting of the Conservation Commission, which we held on November 4th, 2020. Does anybody have any comments or questions or any reason why they should not be approved? I'll take that everybody is in approval. Can everybody say yes, or doesn't that work at this point? I'm not sure the system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we're all on board on that. And then do we all approve the secretary's bill for the special meeting on November 4th? I guess everyone's in favor of that? Yep. All right. And then the next thing we'll go to is Roman numeral 2A, which is 915 South Pine Creek. We have an old encroachment into an old conservation easement, and apparently we actually approved this encroachment, perhaps unknowingly, many years ago, and I think Annette has a solution. Did everybody get to read Annette's stuff, or do you want Annette to go through it?
No, I read it.
I read it.
Okay. It seemed to me that what Annette's proposing is that the current owners have a A2 survey prepared showing the conservation easement, showing the encroachment, and then the commission will go on record as saying that the encroachments that are shown there are permitted to continue. Similar to what we did on the property on Sturgis Highway, was it a couple of years ago or 4 years ago? Is that right, Annette?
Yeah, 4 years ago. Yes.
4 years ago. Does everybody understand what we're saying? And is everybody in? Do we have a motion to that effect?
I move to approve this conservation solution of the conservation staff and the recording of the easement showing the conservation easement.
Hey, Charlie.
Okay. And who was that spoke up? Was that Ken?
Charlie, sorry I'm late. I got the
Charlie, you're here. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Good. All righty. Charlie, we're on that South Pine Creek encroachment. Did you know that, or did you hear what we said?
I didn't, but I can catch up. I read all the documentation and everything around it.
Okay, and I'm looking for a motion, and I think we had a motion made that we authorized the staff to move forward with Annette's plan to ask for an A2 survey and then prepare a written agreement where we consent to the current encroachments. And are we all in favor of that?
Yeah.
Aye. Yes.
Is anybody not in favor of that? Okay, well, Annette, I guess you got your marching orders on that one. And we can turn the page. What?
I didn't hear who made the second. I
don't know that we had a second, but we did have the motion, and everybody went on it. And
I seconded it.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you, Beth.
No worries.
Then okay. Now we're turning the page to item B, which is the Tucker Fund donation by the Seacrest family, and this requires a little bit of discussion. Most of the knowledge about this was in the head of Brian Carey. I spoke with him. I've sent an email over to Betty in the department, but I'll go through it for the commissioners, and Annette, you jump in if I go off the road here. The Tucker Foundation was established a few years ago. They have given us money in the past to build the pollinator in the Hoydens Hill area. And fairly recently, I think maybe September, they gave us an additional $18,500 in this is done by the Seacrest family in memory of their son Tucker. They gave us an additional $18,500. I don't think they gave it for any specific purpose, but at the time they gave it, they were discussing with Brian putting up a bird blind in the open space which the town acquired about a year and a half ago from the Psalms on Oldfield Road. Does everyone know where that property is? It's on the opposite side of the road from Oldfield School and the Frank Rice Memorial sign.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So that has not really gone anywhere yet. And the reason for that is, it gets a little bit complicated. The town bought that property from the Psalm family using mostly money from the Smith-Richardson Fund, with the understanding that the state of Connecticut would reimburse a pretty significant portion of the money, I think in the neighborhood of $85,000. The state will do that, but the state won't do that until they have worked out the terms of an easement with the town to ensure that this gets used for purposes that the state that will fit with the state's program for which they give money. One of the holdups on getting the easement done is the state insists that there be an updated survey of the property. Brian asked the Huntington Company to update their survey. Huntington had done a survey for the Psalm family earlier, but the state needs it updated, and there has been two problems with getting it updated. The first being that it's so much brush and phragmites and overgrowth around the edges of the property that it's next to impossible for the surveying crews to get in there until the weather turns cold and a lot of the brush dies down and they can cut it down and get in there. And the other thing was, in Brian's words, everybody in Fairfield's putting a pool in their backyard. So Huntington and the other surveying companies have been extremely busy. So hopefully, I know Brian was going to talk directly, I think, to Ed and tell Ed that he should probably get a crew out there to help with the cutting down of the phragmites and other brush, so the Huntington can get a crew in, so we can get a survey, so we can get the easement worked out with the state of Connecticut. And the state won't tell us what the terms of the easement are until they know the boundaries of the place. And so Brian did not want to commit to get plans for the bird blind unless and until he knew that the terms of the easement would permit the erection of a bird blind on the space. So that's just politics for you.
Yeah.
But I think we should all be, I'm saying this because I'll be gone and probably by the time we get there, and I want to make sure that there's some knowledge among the members of what this is. And I think the members all realize that this is a great thing from the Seacrest family, and we should be trying to work with them and cooperate with them and do whatever needs to be done, both to pursue their aim and also at the same time to make sure that the proper safeguards, et cetera, are put on the money while it's in the town's account. Anything to add, Annette or Sarah?
No, I think that's a really good summary.
I just have a question.
It's complicated.
Sure. What's the question?
When I think bird blind, I think of bird hunting. Is this for bird watching or bird hunting or both?
Oh, no. Bird watching. It's
That's right. I think, okay. All right.
He's called it bird blind, but I think, my discussions with Brian when he talked about it, I thought he wanted to have like a raised platform where you could come up, because this property abuts that pond-like part of Pine Creek that's behind Fairfield Lumber. So you would be actually looking across that ponded area towards Fairfield Lumber, and I guess there's a lot of wildlife in there, or bird life anyway, and it might be very nice to do that.
Right. No, your rules and regs don't allow hunting on open space property. So.
All right.
Which that's good.
I assume that, but I couldn't imagine a bird blind for hunting in a residential area. Right.
No, it won't happen.
No.
It won't happen.
No. Good. That's good. Any other questions on this item?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll go on.
Bird viewing platform, or we'll give it a little different name or something.
Yeah, bird viewing could be very good.
Okay, fine. That's whatever we have to do to get this moved along. As I said, I don't think the Sechrist family, when they gave the check, and they have given the check, I know that because Betty told me she had seen it, they did not say it was for any specific purpose, and I think under the rules of the town or the rules of the Conservation Commission, we have to kind of designate a purpose for it at some point, but I know Betty's working on that, and maybe Annette's going to work on it too. Because you don't have anything else to do in that, right?
Nothing. Just waiting for work to come my way.
All righty. If there's no more questions on that, we'll just go on to Roman numeral 4, the informational. We have the conservation crew work summary. Is any point going into that? It's hard to do that if you don't have it right in front of you. Or did you send it to us and I just didn't see it?
I did not. Unless it was set separately. I did not send it with the agenda.
Okay. All right. Do you know anything about the conservation crew, or would you have to have Ed on the line to talk about that?
Moving a lot of the things indoors at this time, with the storm. So they switched to doing sign works and routing the signs and maintaining the boats and the equipment inside the workshop. So it's a kind of transfer of work duties. But they still go out when needed. There's tree work. They assist in plowing and other things too. But at this time, it's kind of a transfer to indoor duties.
Okay. Any questions from anybody about the conservation crew work summary?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Okay. And then we have another old chestnut. We have the Ash Creek Pedestrian Trail and Bridge. And this is on our agenda. Apparently, and I wasn't sure, and then I reread this after business hours just a little while ago, and I said, this is addressed, as far as I can tell, to the Shellfish Commission and not to us. Am I right on that? And is this FYI or
Yeah, so we didn't have to put this on the agenda. They technically need the Shellfish Commission's consent to submit to the state DEEP. But Betty thought, we should just give you guys the heads up. Now, they can't go forward with anything officially without your consent because you guys own the easement on the property. But the Metro Center, or whatever they're calling themselves now, they own the land, and they don't, at this moment, have owner's consent, and they don't have your easement formal consent. But over time, the project changes, slightly, with the pedestrian bridge. So you don't have to do anything right now at all. Just, kind of note it. And at some point in the future, the plans may firm up and they may come back to you with a more formal proposal. But over time, as the plans change a bit, it's just good to stay, in the loop and see what's going on.
Okay.
Super.
And
Thank you.
I don't know if the commissioners are fully aware of this. This is a proposal by, I believe, the city of Bridgeport itself to run a bridge from land which I believe the city owns or has an easement over across Ash Creek to land they don't own, and as far as we know, have no permission to land on. Because they need permission from us to land on it, and they need permission from the owner, which is BlackRock Realty. But other than that, they're all on board.
Exactly.
Good job.
They came before us a couple of years ago, didn't they? And show us some
they've been
drawings.
Before us at least once, I think twice already on this, but it's been going on for a while.
Several years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's like,
I was on the Metro Center from the very beginning.
yes.
Yeah.
Lucky you. All righty.
Yeah.
And that's really, then don't we have another, Annette, did you want to talk a little bit about the budget or no?
Well,
there's a supplemental agenda.
Oh,
So we'll go out of this.
Okay. I looked for that today and missed it. So we do have a supplemental agenda?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are all the members in favor of going into the supplemental agenda?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what's on? I don't have it in front of me. Annette, why don't Charlie, if you can read off what the first thing is, or Annette, whatever. I can't do anything.
The budget discussion.
Okay.
Basically, we got a notice to turn in a draft budget Monday, this past Monday, and that we had very little notice to turn it in. So I wanted to keep, to let the board know we did turn in a budget, and and the basic budget, it was just about the same as last year. There's a very slight decrease, but staff would like to ask for two things that are not in the budget this year. One is replacement of our Dodge Caravan. It's a 2002. And this fall, I think it was fall, I don't know if maybe it was summer, but not just the tire fell off, the whole wheel rusted off and fell off the vehicle.
I think it's actually in the spring. That was before quarantine.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a classic.
But it was kind of funny.
So
luckily, I was in someone's driveway when it happened and was not driving.
Well, that's good.
And we have looked. Sarah and I already share this vehicle, but there's no other vehicles in town hall that we could share with another department or anything else. So we would piggyback with a state bid or something like that to get the best rates and stuff like that. And the other thing that we would like is we would like to change the wetlands compliance officer position from part-time to full-time. It had been a full-time position since 1974, and at one point, I know Frank Rice used to push for us to get a second wetlands compliance officer, and now we just have it part-time, and we really could use it full-time. So we would like to ask for that to be a full-time position. So
and that's the position that Sarah holds now, right?
Pardon me?
Yes.
Is that the position that Sarah holds now?
Yes.
So Sarah, you being
As a
part-time,
part-timer.
you don't get any benefits or anything?
No.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, that would seem to be. I think the commission would be pretty much in favor of you pursuing that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
otherwise,
Good.
Yeah.
the basic budget is basically flat, ever so slight decrease in to try and go for the the Dodge Caravan replacement and making the part-time position full-time. So that's the budget.
Dodge Caravan, if I'm looking at this correctly, the Dodge Caravan only has 30,000 miles. Where is it?
Yeah, it's not high mileage, but it's kind of desperate. It's because
it's a lemon, is what you're saying.
I think I've been in that van when I was in high school.
All right, sounds good. Let's get you new wheels, I guess.
Now, is there any other than to say, happy holidays to everybody?
There's unfortunately 2 more supplemental items.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One is the Aquarium item. There's so we got a notice for a diversion. They're requesting a diversion of water out of our watershed to send it to the southwest, to the Greenwich, Stamford, Darien area.
The
water diversion to go from the 7 million gallons per day to about 14 million gallons per day. And there would be an informational meeting on January 6th at 3 o'clock. It's a Zoom meeting. And there's a way that we can possibly petition for a public hearing. The nutshell version that I've been able to find so far, but obviously Aquarium is in the business to sell water, and we have more water here in our watershed than they do in the Southwest. But our water is important not just to sell, but to keep the water in the Mill River because it provides many ecological benefits, the viability of the river for riverine ecosystems, and taking it away can have adverse effects on our trout management area upstream of Lake Mohegan, and the state and town have agreements to stock the trout. The Mill River is already impaired. It's been the town has the burden to invest the time and personnel to address the impairment with the total maximum daily load, TMDL, to improve water quality now and in the future. Lake Mohegan has the swimming beach and closures now from the impaired water quality. So just for the basic health of the Mill River, we have an interest in having releases of water and not taking that water away and sending it far away, but to have it for our water quality, for our fish, for our ecosystem. So when we have looked at these diversions in the past, we have come to agreements with Aquarium to say, okay, if you want a little diversion here or there, that's okay as long as you release water for free into our river. And we've had written, signed agreements with Aquarium in the past that the First Selectman has signed with Aquarium for these releases. So that's an option that we can seriously look at. I have been writing a 2007 agreement for one of these diversions. But at this point, I'd like to keep all of our options open and to have the potential to maybe petition for a public hearing. In last August, the Mill River Wetlands Committee, Fair Plan, Harbor Management made comments on this. We did not as a Conservation Commission, but these other organizations were very interested in this water diversion, and I think we should be more concerned and perhaps get more involved with it.
I agree.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
What year was that when that was last done?
The 2007 diversion was involved the Reading Ridgefield diversion, and that was the last time we had that written agreement was 2007.
And just another question from Dabney Bowen. I'm just curious, when we made an agreement with them to option for a release of additional water, what source were they using, and why wouldn't they use that source for the additional water supplies they need for our neighbors?
Okay, Aquarium had proposed a release in the Norwalk system, and when they got public opposition, they withdrew that request for diversion, and now they're coming back to Fairfield to request this diversion. There was also another diversion that they requested in Wilton, and when there was public opposition, they withdrew that request for diversion. So now they're coming back to Fairfield to request this diversion. When they requested their diversion in Norwalk, they said if that diversion was approved, they wouldn't need Fairfield's diversion, and they were worried. They said on the record in Norwalk that they were worried Fairfield's diversion may not meet the new stream flow regulations coming down the pike. So, but now they don't mention that in any of their documents, how they might not meet those stream flow regulations. So it's
meeting the stream flow regulations would be here in Fairfield?
Yes.
That it would adversely impact us enough that they wouldn't be able to meet those regulations here by diverting the water from here to our neighbor south. Is that right?
Right.
It would impact the Mill River.
Yeah. And it's essentially doubling. It's going from 7 million gallons per day to 14 million gallons.
Yeah,
to 14.
Double. Yeah, that's not 10%. That's double.
No.
That's a lot.
No, I think we need to address this.
Yeah. So what do you need from us, Annette? Do you want some guidance, or are you just telling us that you're going to look into it, or do you want us to specifically authorize you to look into it and evaluate the plan from our point of view?
Well, I'd like a little more encouragement than that, to say that yes, keep our options open, but that right now it's not sounding necessarily the best for Mill River, and that perhaps we might need to petition for a public hearing or express our concerns for the health of the Mill River with this diversion.
Okay.
Yeah,
do we all agree that?
Yeah.
Do we all agree that Annette has raised a really a valid concern that needs to be addressed? Are we all there?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. And would be interested in filing a petition if it seemed necessary.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Annette, do you think you need a motion to that effect, or do you got enough information? Are you encouraged enough?
I think I'm encouraged.
Okay.
Thank you.
Annette, make sure since the one thought, you probably have thought this through already, but since the first selectman signed off on an agreement with Aquarium in the past, not this first selectman, but the first selectman's office, you might want to make sure that the first selectman's office is now up to date with the fact that maybe someone's trying to get around an agreement that the selectman's office has made in the past.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and now any more comments on this?
Nope.
And then finally, is there anything else on the supplemental agenda?
Yes, there's one more item. It's about an application for the Connecticut Siting Council for a new cell tower at it happens to be located on Sacred Heart University property near Jefferson Street, near the maintenance building that they just built. And you guys can make an advisory comment or not. It's up to you. But it's sent to us, so we bring it to you. It's a monopole. It's not. It's in an upland, not a wetland. But you can comment. You cannot comment. They are showing some impervious area and some graveled area to make it flatter. So I could make the suggestion that even though it's not all paved or whatever, we would usually, if it were a local project, we would ask for some stormwater detention. But that's about all I would really say about it. And you can either send those comments or not send those comments.
my thought would be that if you think that the stormwater detention would help protect our wetlands, then I think you should make the comment and request it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Kevin.
Agreed.
There's no, I mean, there's technically there's regulated area in general on the Sacred Heart parcel, but this, they're exempt from local regulation. It's the Connecticut Siting Council.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So just to make it clear, there's, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Annette, I know I saw that supplemental agenda because someone had siting spelled C-I-T, and the Siting Council is S-I-T.
That's what it said on mine, S-I-T.
Well, that's it, Kevin.
Okay. And does that clear up for the agenda? Is there any other at this point?
Don't think so. Right. Well, happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah, have a good holiday,
Charlie,
everybody.
one more. I have another. Charlie, you realize that Nelson is now a full member?
I do. Yes,
maybe you can. Maybe you can. If you can quit as secretary and stick Nelson with the town.
I can't write. I would be a terrible secretary. I can't spell. Go laugh.
Are you questioning my nomination? My goodness. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Why do I get this sense of
all righty.
No, it's a compliment, Charlie. Just believe me, it is.
Got a great benefits package, I'll bet.
That's what
It
does.
Well, you get a bonus of 75% over your regular Conservation Commission pay.
Wow.
You get to drive the van.
All righty. Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
No,
I
think we're good.
All right, are we ready to adjourn the hearing, the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Are we all in favor?
Second.
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. Everyone have a good
Stay
holiday.
safe, everyone.
We said that the last
too.
time,
Yeah.
we weren't going to have any more meetings this year.
Be well.
All right. Bye-bye.
All righty. Well, stay safe in the storm. I'm glad we're not driving home now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you too.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Kevin.
Bye.
Thanks, Annette.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.